In the following installment of Getting Savvy with SharePoint, we will learn how to create views. Views are a really great tool to use to organize the information seen within a SharePoint library. There are two ways to begin creating a view. One is to go to the ellipses at the end of the View List row and search the drop-down menu for Create View. Or we can go to the top ribbon and under the List tab, select Create View. If we like how an existing view looks but need to tweak a few columns, we could choose to start from an existing view and select the view that best matches the view we are trying to create. If we wanted to create a brand new view, we would need to select the type of view we want to create, such as a standard view, calendar view, or Gantt view. Once we select the type of view, we can then name our view and choose whether we are making a public view or a personal view. It's important to note that unless we own the library we are creating a view in, we can only create personal views. When we are creating a view from scratch, our view will contain all of the default columns. We can then select any column that is available or deselect any column we don't want in our library. We can also move them in any order we choose to. As a best practice, we recommend selecting all of the columns of information we want in our library, then organize them in the order we want to after. We could sort our view by two columns of information, and this will impact how our information in the library is displayed. For example, if we sorted our library by Created By, then selected Show this column in ascending order, the page of items in our library would be displayed in alphabetical order based on who created the item. And again, we can select two columns of information to sort by. Filters can be applied to any column, and this fine-tunes the items we will see in our library. We need to be sure that we use the correct content in the column we're filtering by, as it's case sensitive. So for example, if we wanted to filter our page based on today's trucks, we would select truck numbers as a filter, and then we would select is equal to, and then we would put in how to filter by a date. If we wanted to filter a column by date, we would use the square bracket, the word today, and close this with a square bracket, and the page will always filter by the present date. If we subtract an amount of days from this, we can then filter the page by past dates. We could also look for future dates by adding days to the same section. Using the and/or options will classify how we want to filter the data within the library. We would use and if we wanted the items or data classified together. We would use or if we wanted to see one kind of item or data over another. We can use the and or options multiple times within a view by selecting Show More columns. If we needed to allow users to select multiple items at once within a view, we would select the Tabular View option and be sure that the checkbox that states Allow Individual Item Checkboxes is checked off. We can also group items within a view. Some other SharePoint pages we might be familiar with that have items grouped are the Home Damage Claims page and the Go Back Request page. We can select up to two columns to group by. We can also set the default view to have these groups either collapsed or expanded when a user clicks on this view. We can also set the amount of groups to display in a collapsed view. We can choose to display totals on columns we have picked for our view. If the column data populates as a number, there will be multiple options to select, such as a sum of the data or an average of the data. If the data populates as letters, we will only be able to display a count of these items. The style of the view should always be left on default. If there are folders within the library, such as a report library, the items can then be viewed with or without the folders depending on the options we select. Item limit dictates how many items can be viewed within the view. The max amount of items we can view is 500 items. Mobile selection is not in use at this time, so there's really no reason to use it. Once we have set up all of our columns and filters in the way we want our view to be, all we would need to do is hit OK to create our view. If at any point we change our minds and we no longer want to create the view, we would just hit cancel. Our new view will now be available in the view list at the top of the page within the ellipsis drop-down menu. Or we can find our view at the top ribbon under the List tab in the Current View drop-down menu. We can now create a view for any page within SharePoint. So go get savvy with SharePoint, and on behalf of BDF Support, thank you for watching.